Oh my goodness. Hi! Hi! Hello, hello, hello! I'm so happy to be in the group. I've missed you so much. Love magnets. Um, I just had to come in because this, oh my goodness, huge sort of breakthrough came to me, and I really wanted to share it with you because it's so powerful to understand this, and so I wanted to come in and talk about it. My goodness. So a lot of times, if we're really used to the idea, let me check and just make sure that people can actually see this. Yay, people can see this in the group. Fantastic. This is fantastic. So I want to come in here and talk to you a little bit about divorce and breakups because there's a really important insight that you need to understand, that we need to understand and hold in our hearts, as we are sort of moving on from a divorce or moving on from a breakup. There are things we need to understand. If you're watching this for the first time, hi, it's good to see you. Thank you for being here. I'm so glad that you're part of our community. If we've never had a chance to be connected, I am Carisa Montooth. I'm a love coach and energy healer, and I help high-achieving women heal their hearts and attract happy, healthy, sustainable relationships. We usually do that within about 6 months, and I kind of specialize in tough cases. So that's what I do. Okay, I wanted to, there's a really important thing I wanted to talk to you about today. And it has to do with divorce. It has to do with breakups. It has to do with how we leave that situation and what we think about that situation, what we think it means. And there is a big difference I have noticed between the people who get divorced and get back out into love and have that happy, healthy relationship really quickly, like myself. So you may remember, I shared with the group like last year, that I was going through divorce and it was really difficult. I am now divorced and I'm really happy in a brand new relationship. That makes me just super happy. If we've talked, if you know, you know. But anyway, I wanted to share with you some of the things that I've kind of learned navigating that process that I think are so important for you to understand too. I don't want you to have to experience any kind of unnecessary heartache. I don't want you to feel like you're alone in anything. I don't want you to feel like, I want you to know that you're not alone in that. I want you to know that it's possible for you. And when we do our healing together, it's not just possible, it's inevitable. But this is like the one mindset shift that is so important, because I noticed it not only with me, but I noticed it with some of my clients. So sometimes when I'm working with a client, we will work together, we'll manifest love, and things will be going really, really great in that relationship. But then that relationship, something will happen with that relationship and it will sort of begin to deteriorate. And usually what I have found is when the person responds to that deterioration by staying focused on loving themselves and staying out of scarcity mindset, which is really hard to do, but this is what we need to do, we end up releasing that relationship, even if it's taken us a long time to get to it. And even if we're like, this feels like my soulmate relationship, I want to just stop here. I want to be able to unpack here. We feel like that. And then if that relationship starts to go badly and we're not being treated with love and we're not receiving what we need to have bare minimum in that relationship, the way we respond to that determines how quickly we move on. So if we're in that relationship when we go into scarcity and we bend over backwards trying to rescue it, trying to make it still work, trying to rationalize what is happening, trying to think, well, maybe if I just think about this differently, I can stay here longer, kind of like really fighting against that voice in ourselves that's saying, this is bad, this doesn't feel good. When we fight against that, instead of releasing that relationship and moving on, it takes a lot out of us, and it takes us to this really dark emotional place where we start to come up with all these new rules about what we think is possible for us in love. We think like, this is because I didn't hold on closely enough to God, or this is because I didn't, like, this is because I had too much faith in this one area of trying to attract love, or different things like that. And we think that the problem is that we just did it wrong last time, that we like attracted love the wrong way last time. We put all our eggs in the wrong basket last time, or something like that. And it's really not that. It's that we went into scarcity mindset. We tried to dig our claws in to that relationship. We tried to like really dig into it and hold on to it and make it work no matter what. We were trying to do all of these things because what we really believed in was scarcity. And we believed in it so strongly that it overcame our self-love. And we all do this because we believe that this love that's in front of us, we think of that as the source of love. We don't remember that actually the divine is the source of love, and it's just manifesting through this particular person at this time. And that's a lesson that our spirits, our souls need to learn in order to actually create the happy, healthy, sustainable relationship that lasts. We have to go through that where we end up having to apologize to ourselves because we didn't put our self-love first. We put our faith in scarcity instead. We really believed that this was the only way love was going to come through us. We said, we said, I've fought for it and I've waited for it for so long. I've spent so long trying to manifest this love into my life. So now I need to hold on to it. And we don't recognize that when that love turns unhealthy, it's time to let it go and love ourselves more. So there's a little bit of a mindset shift that we need in that. If you're here, come in and say hi so I can say hi back to you. There's a little bit of a mindset shift. What we need to understand and realize is that divorce and breakups are part of our journey of love. It's not that the love, you get to a point where there's a divorce, or you get to a point where there's a breakup and that's the end of love. Letting go of something because you love yourself more is part of the journey of love, because the journey of love is about loving ourselves. And sometimes we are really made to look at a choice between loving ourselves enough to walk away and trying to love someone else who's not loving us back the way we need to, because we're invested in the idea of romantic love and we think that this is scarcity. We think that if I let go of this, I will never have it again. But essentially what we're really dealing with is that we're being tested. And I know that there are going to be some people who are just like, that seems like a lot, or that, I know that that's going to feel like a lot. For some people that are listening to this, it's going to feel like it's a lot. Hey, Sonia. Hi, love. It's so good to see you. How are you, love? It's good to see you here. I hope you're having a great summer. I hope you're enjoying yourself. I hope you're enjoying your summer. But yeah, so that's what we do, is that we hold on so tightly because we think, I will never have a love like this again. But it's a love that's not healthy for us. It's a love that maybe was healthy at one point. And so we went all in. But now, usually what happens with that, and it's so wild that this is what happens, but this happens, I can tell you from working with hundreds and hundreds of women, a lot of times what happens is that when we haven't actually built the self-love in as a core value, as this is a non-negotiable for me, what happens is that when I'm working with people one-on-one, we do deep self-love work. We come up with what your daily self-love practices are going to be, what your weekly self-love practices are going to be, what your monthly self-love practices are going to be. We come up with, what does it look like to have boundaries for yourself? What does it look like to make yourself first right now in your life? we work on those things. We come up with those things so that you understand what it actually translates into. And it's not just this kind of general nebulous statement of like, you just need to love yourself so that you can attract love. What does that mean? Nobody knows what that means. What does that actually look like in your life, right? We don't know what that means. So that's one of the ways that we get really specific in the work that we do together. So then what happens though is that a lot of times women will do that work and they'll be very invested in that work and they'll put the time into that work and they'll see the changes and they'll actually manifest the person in their lives. But then their self-love stuff goes out the window and they focus on loving the person in front of them. They focus on loving the partner we've just brought in. And their shift goes from loving myself the most to loving you the most. And what they're telling themselves and what they're telling the universe is, I was just loving myself as a placeholder until someone better came along for me to love. And that changes the dynamic of the relationship that they're having with that person. That relationship will change. And what will happen is either that person who you love, if they are very strong in their own sense of their self-love and who they are, they will be less attracted to you if your self-love is going down the toilet because you're pouring everything into that relationship and not loving yourself the way you were before it came in. Because now if they're on a vibration of self-love like they were when you were on your vibration of self-love and attracted them, if you start to be out of that, they feel it's a mismatch. They want to love someone who loves themselves because that's who they are. So you'll see a mismatch in that, and that you won't feel like as much of a match to that person anymore. Or you will drop in your vibration of self-love and so will they. And they will begin to behave in ways that are part of their shadow self. Their wounds that they have not healed, those things will come to the surface. All of the ways that they have been wounded in the past and that they then act out. All of the ways that they have tried to numb themselves from their past wounds, that they've tried to run away from the things that have hurt them. And all of the things, the wounds that are in their shadow self, those things are going to come to the surface and they're going to act out in those ways. Because as you drop into your lower sense of self, they are dropping into their lower sense of self. And that's who you're going to be dealing with. And usually what we do is we don't respond to that by raising back into our strong sense of self and our self-love. We respond to it by becoming desperate and becoming really clingy and doing anything that we can to try to hold on to that relationship, because we're like, it was so good once. They felt like my soulmate. I thought I was going to get to stop here. I thought I was going to get to rest here. I've done so much work to get to this point. I've worked so hard to get to this point. And now I finally have them and this is all falling apart. And what we do is we make the mistake of chucking everything that we've learned and all of our previous accountability and all of our tools and all of our help out the window. We chuck it out the window because we go, well, I did all of that and then I got to this dead end. It's not a dead end. How we respond there in that moment makes a difference, because we can respond by going deeper into our sense of self-love. And then it goes one of two ways. Either we go strongly into our deeper self-love, right, where we go back to doing our daily things, we go back to doing our weekly things, we go back to doing our monthly things. We recognize that, yeah, there are a few things I can do that would help this relationship, but my health, my peace of mind, my security emotionally is more important to me than anything else. And so I'm not going to behave in ways that are counter to that. I'm not going to respond out of my shadow self. I'm not going to respond out of my desperation. I'm going to remember who I am. I'm going to remember what I deserve. And I'm going to act as such. When we do that, what happens is either this person comes back into that vibration because we match them. You know, they match us. We resonate. We will match another person's vibration when we're in close proximity with them and close emotional connection to them. We will match their vibration. So either they will then come into a strong sense of self-love and self-respect, or they will not, but you will let them go, because you will recognize on a deep level not only that they're not a match for you anymore, but that you deserve to have someone that is, and that is not difficult, that person is out there for you. You won't stay in a space of fear or thinking that somehow you need to go through a period of like becoming a love hermit, or like, you know, kind of like going into an emotional monastery, you know, like before you can go back out. You know, a lot of times we go, well, this time, you know, I just feel like I wasn't holding closely enough to God, and I'm just going to let God guide me through this. And that's all fine, but that's almost like saying that God wasn't guiding you through it before. God has always been guiding you through it. And it's whether you listened before or didn't listen. You know, it's whether you actually put yourself and love of yourself first, treated yourself as though you are the amazing person that you are, and as though you really do believe you deserve what you deserve, and actions that match your beliefs. If your belief is in abundance of love, then you're not going to stay somewhere where you're being mistreated, where you're being lied to, where you're being repeatedly deceived, or repeatedly disappointed, or repeatedly abandoned on some level. So that is all about, that is what happens when we go through these situations. When you look at that, we want to really, it's the same thing as when you are, if you think about somebody who is, this is a lesson that I learned in roller skating. If you've ever been roller skating, if you've ever been ice skating, anything like that, you've learned this lesson before, right? You need to learn that how you can fall safely, in the safest way without hurting yourself, and get up. If you don't learn that, you'll go around the rink holding on to the sides always. You'll just be holding on to the sides, and you'll never really get anywhere. You'll be like creeping along 1 foot at a time, holding on to the sides, holding on to the sides, holding on to the sides, right? Because you think a fall is going to be catastrophic. So you never actually learn to skate because you're terrified to fall, right? What we need to learn and what we need to understand and believe and accept is that we are resilient and that love is abundant. And that you really do deserve to have love, that breakups don't have to be traumatic, and that breakups that you can actually move on much more quickly on the other side than you think that you can. You really can, you know, but it has to do with how you conduct yourself when you leave, with you making the choice. I am leaving this situation because it is not healthy for me, because I am not being respected the way that I need to, because I am not being fed into the way that I am trying to feed into this person, because I am not being taken care of in the way that I deserve to be taken care of, because I am putting in my best faith efforts at every level of this, and this other person is not. So instead of us rationalizing or saying, how do I stay here for as long as I possibly can? How do I make it better? How do I sort of just exist here as best as I can, because I don't want to leave. I don't want to lose everything I've put into this already. We have all been there. We have all been there, and we have all done that. We have all done that. And there is no shame in having done that. But it's time for us to evolve spiritually. It's time for us to not just constantly be in the process of becoming, but actually step into being that person who knows she deserves love and behaves as such. And a lot of times these things that come to us as tests to see if we really believe that we deserve what we say we believe we deserve. And how we respond to that is important. Because when we respond to it out of that integrity and out of that love of ourselves and that belief in abundance of love, that you can walk away from that and it's going to hurt, but that you will be in love again, and it will be good and it will be easy. when we respond from there, that next relationship that comes in is so beautiful. It's so beautiful. And nobody can tell you, okay, this is the relationship that I'm going to settle in and stay in forever. Nobody can tell you that, because a lot of times what happens is that we have a kind of a life's purpose. I hesitate to say soul contract because that's usually between us and another person, but we have like a mission in life, a life's purpose that we've made some kind of a vow that we can have on an energetic level, or we've just made some kind of a promise to ourselves on a deep subconscious level that the way we're going to live is that we are going to continually grow. We are committed to our growth and we are committed to evolving, right? And that means, love, that sometimes we're going to have to move forward and out of a situation that we really wish we didn't have to leave, but isn't good for us anymore. And we're going to have to gather all of our faith and all of our courage and all of our emotional strength, and we're going to have to move out of it. We're going to have to move forward. And we're going to have to really walk the walk. When we do that, the universe moves forward to meet us. When we do that, when we take that huge step and we say, yes, I know that there is something better that is out there for me. I know it. I believe it. This is hard, but I'm going to do it. That is when the universe meets us. And I know that it's hard to do that alone. It's very hard to do that alone. And that's what I'm here for. That's what I do. That's like my mission. That's my life's work, is to be here for you while you're doing that, and to sit next to you and help to guide you and help to show you that you are being heard, that you are being responded to, that you are being listened to help to chart that path with you through the heartache to the comeback, and then to the finish line of the happy, healthy love. That's what I do with you. So I want you to understand and to remember that it's not a journey to a soulmate and then it ends. It's a journey to loving yourself more and more deeply, because your love for yourself, your relationship with yourself, is your most important relationship you can ever have. It is sacred. It is precious. It matters. So divorce and breakups can be things that are on that journey, but they're not the whole journey. They are a part of it. They are a part of it that we wish wasn't there because they hurt. But a lot of times they teach us how resilient we are. And if we can let go of, if we cannot be like the person who falls and just goes, I'm not going to do this again, or I'm terrified to do this, or, I'm going to wait for a sign to show me that it's okay to do this, or something like that. And really that's, a lot of times that's our fear, right? It's like we're hiding behind fear and going, that hurt so badly, I just never want to go back there again, right? Instead, what we want to do is we want to learn and understand that we can recover. We can move on. We can heal. And that's just a part of healing. That's a part of the journey. That's a part of it. That's a part of it. And it's an okay, natural part of it. And it doesn't need to destroy us. It doesn't need to permanently sideline us. It doesn't need to limit us in terms of what we believe we can have in the future. There's no mandatory period of time where it's like your heart's been broken and then you just don't ever, you need to take a year to heal from it. There's no mandatory period of time like that. You can heal from something in a few weeks. You can heal from something in a few months. Some of the things that you're going to heal from are going to actually be things you're going to heal in the next relationship. Because sometimes our healing has to happen in relationship. So it's like, it's hard for us to believe that somebody could choose us over and over again. Or here's one. there's a really common belief we have that us asking for what we actually need to have, speaking up and asking for us, makes us difficult or clingy or needy. So we try to ignore our own needs. We don't talk about them. We try to just make it easy, make the relationship easy for everybody else. That's what we do a lot of times when we get into a relationship. And, sometimes we need to actually get into that happy, healthy relationship, that next happy, healthy relationship, and actually overcome that, voice our needs, and have someone respond to that by saying, oh, okay, I can do that for you. Thank you for telling me what you need. Thank you for trusting me with that, with your needs. Thank you for letting me take care of you in that way. Sometimes we need to get that experience in the relationship, and it's not something that we can just have without having that relationship. Some of our healing happens in the next relationship, so there are things that it's like there's no arbitrary, like, this is how much time you have to be alone before you can move on. It's not about the time, it's about what you do in that time. It's about how you use that time. It's about how you invest in yourself and your healing during that time. It's about the insights that you come out of that last situation with. What do you bring out of it with you? Is the thing that you bring out of it, oh my God, that was so terrible and so hurtful. I must have been being punished because I didn't hold on closely enough to God or something the first time, or maybe I was being too selfish, or maybe I was, I say these things because it's like a common thing that comes up for people. If we have a belief that we're alone because like God is punishing us or something like that, because that's a really common belief. People will say, I don't understand why I still have this desire for love and I'm still alone. I've prayed so hard, I've asked God and I'm watching everybody else around me have these relationships, and if God knows my heart, why am I still alone? I don't understand. It feels like I'm almost being tortured. Like, if I can't have the love, why doesn't God just take the love away from me? Why doesn't God take the desire for the love away from me? Because for me to continue to have this desire and never have it fulfilled feels like torture. And in the meantime, the years are going by, and I'm watching my dreams that I had for myself. It feels like they're less and less within reach now as time is going by. That's a common belief. That's a common fear. And it's really hard to pull ourselves out of that alone. We need help for that. We need it to be cleared. We need to get our momentum to actually attract love to come back, so that we don't stay in that vibration of like, this is hard for me, and I'm in a desperate situation, and the older that I'm getting, the harder it's going to be, and if it's not happened yet, it's probably never going to happen. The longer we stay in that vibration, the longer that becomes true for us, and we need to actually get pulled out of that vibration so that we can actually attract the thing that's out there for us. Because it is out there for us, So a lot of times what we need to understand is that maybe the divorce knocked you down. Maybe the breakup knocked you down. And maybe it felt like I had my soulmate. Why did this happen? And we're still thinking, well, what if I have my soulmate again and next time it doesn't last either? And what we want to understand is it's like that skating thing. It's like the metaphor. The people who skate the best, the people who are the most confident and actually learn to are able to enjoy it, are able to skate with a smile on their face, are able to skate in a way that feels like play and fun and do new things, and that are having the greatest time, are the people who have learned that the falls will not kill them. They've learned how to fall gracefully and get back up because they know it won't kill them. And they know that the joy of skating is worth that sometimes you might fall, and that's okay, And that doesn't have to be our destiny, that we just keep going through and through and through and through those things. But we do have to learn to recognize that we're being tested and to respond from a place of deep self-love and a belief in the abundance of love, not scarcity and not fear. And that can be really hard for a lot of us. So I hope that has resonated for you on some level. I hope that it feels that you can pull from that what you need today. I hope that there's a part of your spirit that speaks to, that helps to heal. I hope that there is a part of your mindset that gives you maybe a little type of a perspective that helps to unlock a larger insight for you that was already there in your spirit. Because our wisdom is sovereign. Our inner wisdom is sovereign, and it knows what we need to have to heal. It knows what we need to do to heal. All right? So, let me know if you have comments below. I would love to hear from you. Let me know if there's anything else that you really want me to talk about. I'm going to be popping in here a lot more and inviting people into the group coaching program that I'm creating that should be able to start toward the end of June. Let me know if you're interested in that in the comments so that I can have you on my list to contact you and give you all of the details about it. I'm trying to keep it pretty small so that I have a lot of time with each person in the group. When it's still a group coaching, but when we get bigger past a certain amount of people, it starts to be hard to make it so that everyone gets the benefit out of it that they need. So it's going to be a pretty tight group of about seven ladies. 7 ladies and me. So yeah, put your name in the comments if you would like me to contact you about that, or you can reach out to me directly. You can just message me, or you can email me. I'm going to put my email address in here. It's Carisa at carisamontooth.com is my email. And so you can email me if you have questions about the group coaching. It's going to be about a 12-month program. There's a 12-month commitment. You can continue after that if you like. But that's about the length of time that we would need in a group coaching environment to make sure that we take you through the healing process that you need, and also the clarity of creating your love list, and also the deep self-love practices, so that you can actually begin to see the results that you need to see in your life. So when you think about where you want to be next year, and you think about where you want to be a year from now, think about how you want to get there, because that's what this is for. This is for you. And of course I am always, well, not always, but I do have room now at the moment to take in new one-on-one clients. So you can always email me about that as well. And I'll put my link here so that if you would like to talk about working together one-on-one, I'll put that in the comments as well, so that you can schedule a Find My Soulmate Now session with me, and we can talk about that together. So have an amazing rest of your day. I'm sending you so much love. I'm so excited for what's going to come into your lives, and I'm so grateful that you're here, and so happy for you, because you are on a path of bringing in the love that you deserve to have. So good for you, and I'm so glad that you're here. Bye, love.